This video is being sponsored by Circle.
Circle is a live-action football sweepstake game where the winner is decided by what happens on the pitch.
This weekend you can play the Shifter Special, which only costs £5 to enter, and you can win up to £500.
Also, the 5 Match Millions is back this weekend. Here's how it works.
You choose 5 lucky numbers, one for each of the 5 games.
Every kick, throw and header makes a difference to the final number, which is chosen at the end of each match. You can follow it all on the Circle app.
Match one number to win money. The more numbers you match, the more money you make. And if you match all 5 numbers, you win £1 million.
Another bonus, refer a friend and receive a free entry to the 5 Match Millions. Use our referral code on screen now, WeAreTottenhamTV, and receive a free entry.
But please remember, you have to be over 18 and a UK resident to play. Please gamble responsibly. What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another match preview as Spurs are going up to Anfield Sunday, 4:30 kickoff, obviously, against Liverpool. Liverpool have stepped up in recent weeks. They seem to be firing on all cylinders with their front three really starting to click now. How are you feeling coming into this game?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we got the draw against Man United with an improved performance, so that gives you more hope that maybe we can go and attack them. But in terms of like how our defence performed against Man United, that doesn't give me any hope that our defence is going to go up to Anfield and do anything but collapse at the first sign of trouble. And that's what I'm most worried about, because you know how the Anfield atmosphere gets, especially in games at home against the top 6. I saw them when they played at home to Man United, they played at home to Arsenal. Both their defences really struggled to cope with Liverpool's front line, and with Trent's new kind of position as well. I just struggle to see how we're going to go there and get not a clean sheet, but even keep the score down to 2 or 3. I find it hard to believe we're going to do that, to be honest. I think I can see us easily conceding 3 goals in this game. That's what I'm very worried about. I do see us, I hope, like creating some openings on the counter-attack. Like I'm hoping we've taken some confidence from the last game, the amount of chances we created. But I don't see us being able to pen in Liverpool like we did Man United in that second half. So whether we'll be able to create the same level of chances, I highly doubt.
Yeah, I kind of get the feeling like this is going to be a game that the neutrals are going to be loving to watch, with a lot of goals going in at either ends, most goals going in our end, to be honest. But no, I can see it being a really good game of football to watch, end-to-end battle. But when you're looking at the form of these two sides coming into it, especially Liverpool's form, I mean, they are on the form of their season, isn't it? Because they've had a poor season up until now, but things are starting to click, aren't they?
Definitely. I think Klopp has changed things up tactically. They're still not perfect, but they're definitely a lot better than they have been for the majority of the season when they've struggled for large parts. They seem to be a lot more, I wouldn't say defensively solid, but I think they've struggled to really attack with purpose for a lot of the season. I think Gakpo, Núñez were taking a bit of time to adapt, but I definitely think they're now acclimatised to this Liverpool system, and they're looking threatening whenever they go forward. Jota's now back from injury. He's back from injury, but he might have a slight injury going into this game. But he's now back in form, though. I think he's like, before the West Ham game, it was 4 goals in 2 games. So he was really getting back to the old Jota. Salah's starting to score again. And it's like whoever they play in that front three, you're worried about them, because the Liverpool system seems to be functioning again. And we know in a functioning Liverpool system, those chances constantly flow. And it's all about the pressure they put on you. And our defence is known for crumbling under pressure. So yeah, they're definitely playing a lot better now than they were during the season.
It's a weird one with Liverpool, isn't it? Because whatever state we're in, however well we play, we just can't seem to get over the line against these lot, home or away. You know, back end of last season, we had a brilliant performance at Anfield. Probably should have gone on and won the game. Missed a sitter right at the end with that Højbjerg header. But those kind of things seem to happen time and time again against Liverpool. Why can't we ever seem to be clinical against these lot?
There's no reason. It's just, I don't know if it's a mental block, but every time we play really well. I think the last few times, for a while now, especially at Anfield just seems to be a massively massively cursed stadium for us, because we always go there, have a really good game, create loads of chances, and then we either make a mistake or concede a last-minute equaliser or last-minute winner for Liverpool, and it happens every single time, and it's so frustrating to watch because you just see us missing chances, and then like, by this time now you're like, oh, okay, we know what's coming. After all these missed chances, inevitably late in the game it happens, and so there's no reason for it. It's just how it's been. Even at home, like this season, we should have beaten them. We missed a whole host of chances. Last season, we definitely should have beaten them. The amount of chances we missed in that game were ridiculous. At a 2-2 home draw, we missed a mad amount of chances in that game as well. So that the kind of cursed factor on top of the fact that our defence is so brittle right now isn't a great recipe, I don't think.
Yeah, I know. And if you're looking at the lineups of the Liverpool team that we've picked to come into it, so you've got quite a few injuries: Ramsey, Bajcetic, Keita, Jota, potentially Konate, potentially Firmino. I mean, how much of a plus will that be for us if Jota and Konate are both out in this game?
It will be a plus, but Jota, I think, look, Núñez comes straight in. I don't think it makes too much of a difference, so I'm not going to get too excited about him. Konate, I think he's really stepped up recently. I've been very impressed with his athleticism, his ability to read the game as well. He's really improved in that aspect, and they now can like trust him in that defensive line to like handle one-on-one situations where maybe that wasn't always the case. So Matip isn't quite the dominant force that Konate is. So I'm definitely happier with Matip then than Konate, but Matip as well scored last game. They're definitely a good defender. He's no mug, and look, they've won a league with Matip. So he's also. I also don't think it makes that much of a difference as long as he's fit. I think it's when it comes to problems when he's like not 100%, but as long as he's fit, it's okay.
There's a lot of talk about Virgil van Dijk this season. I mean, what's going on with him?
I think it's a consequence of Liverpool's. I think it's a consequence of Liverpool's less than functioning system. To be honest, I don't think it's totally just because of him. I think Liverpool have struggled to maintain control over games, and I think he's been left exposed. And he's definitely not in as good a form as he has been in previous years. Maybe he had that big injury a couple of years ago. Maybe he hasn't fully kind of recovered from that. It does take a while. Last season he played really well, and like maybe better than expected considering the length of the injury. He really came back firing, but maybe this season it's going to just take a bit of time to kind of. I don't know what it is. It's not necessarily an injury thing totally. I think it's a bit of both. It's a bit of form and it's a bit of the system as well. Is hurting Liverpool. So I don't think it's only one thing. But I think give him time, he'll get back to his best. But I think he hasn't had a great season. But I think it's more to do with how Liverpool are playing as a team rather than just him.
Yeah. What about Trent? Because Trent, I mean, he's had such a negative kind of feeling to surround him towards the whole season. But Klopp has seemed to have found a new role for him, bringing him into midfield, and he seems to be really taking to it. Yeah, and his last, I think 4 games it is now. I think ever since the Arsenal game, he's been playing in this kind of, like I guess you could say Cancelo-esque role, or like the fullback kind of being inverted, almost playing like a central midfielder. And everyone's always said that Trent could play in midfield. He's one of those players who maybe has a future in midfield, and maybe we're starting to see the early signs of it. And I think he's really excelled. He's like Andrea Pirlo in that position. We all know he has the passing ability. He has the unbelievable passing range and technical ability. So it's no surprise that when he's on the ball, he looks brilliant. Maybe off the ball, he's still got a long way to go defensively. I think it's probably better getting him away from that right back slot defensively, to be honest, because he has been seen quite exposed at the moment. But he's already influencing games in ways maybe even more than people would think in that central midfield role. So he's really excelled, and it's no surprise because we all know he's got one of the best passes in the league, and some of the assists already he's got have been brilliant in that central midfield spot. So he's going to be a real tough one to stop on Sunday. Yeah, and it's just like he's just got such supreme ability, doesn't he? supreme ability, and you always thought that they had to find something in there for him, because he's got such a great cross of the ball, such a great pass. And, I thought Gareth Southgate's tried this with him for England before, I think just on maybe one odd occasion. It never seemed to work. So what's Klopp done different to get this out of him?
I think, first of all, it takes time. I don't think you can I think Southgate kind of just put him into the central midfield without really planning for it. I think it wasn't one that he worked on for many weeks. I just think it takes planning. I think it takes time to adjust to a very new role. It's very different. I think Klopp has given him a height as well. Southgate fully put him in central midfield. He literally just started him in that position. But Klopp has kind of found this hybrid position of him still being a right back in the system, but when we're on the ball, he kind of merges into a central midfielder. So I think that it's very different to how Southgate had it. Southgate literally had him as a pure central midfielder, whereas Klopp has worked out his hybrid system. So he still finds himself on the right-hand side on occasion, still able to put those deliveries in from deep positions where I think he's still very threatening. But I think his role in central midfield is an interesting one from Klopp that he's found, and I think it's working really well for him at the moment. Look, long term, who knows? But at the moment, the last 4 games, he's dictating play really well, and it's really impressive.
Yeah, in terms of the star men that we've picked out, Mo Salah, Darwin Núñez. Salah not having the most strong season as maybe he has done in previous years. Is this just a natural drop-off, or is there something different within this Liverpool team and tactically?
I think it's to do with the team, because you look at Salah, he's on 16 Premier League goals. I think he's like third or fourth highest in the league, I think just behind Ivan Toney. So again, even in a poor season for Liverpool, he's keeping up his standards. I think he's probably going to hit the 20 goal mark again. I think he's hit the 20 goal mark in every season that he's been in the Premier League. So I don't think I think there has been a drop-off in performance level. He's not on the same level he was at the beginning of last season, where he was absolutely electric. But I do think that it's more of the consequence of the Liverpool system not functioning as well as it used to be. Him not finding himself in as many dangerous situations as he used to. So he's not able to show off his finishing ability. I think once Liverpool sort out the midfield, again, you'll see a much more effective Mo Salah. And I think that it's a bit similar to Son. I think it's probably more of a case of, look, he is aging. He is past 30. So, again, he has to manage himself a bit more. But there's no reason why he can't manage himself to still be getting plus 20 goals a season. And he's on course for that anyway.
Yeah. You mentioned earlier on when we were talking about Spurs under Ryan Mason, the Man United game, the defensive frailties. We looked much better going forward. How do you see us getting any sort of joy in this game at Anfield?
Limiting their attacking situations, which is going to be very difficult, because we saw it even against Man United when we're put under pressure. When Man United did go forward, we still struggled really badly. So we're going to have to somehow limit this Liverpool team in possession, make sure they're not creating those good quality chances. In a weird way, you probably want someone like Antonio Conte in charge and those kind of methods in this kind of game, because we're probably more likely to reduce the quality of chances that Liverpool are going to create under Mason. And if we do play a bit more on the front foot, then I struggle to see how we can contain this Liverpool team, to be honest, because all I can envisage is Tottenham trying to play more on the front foot, trying to get players forward, but us being caught out time and time again and being very naive. That's what I would say. I'm worried about us being naive in this game, thinking we could take the game to Liverpool and come out on top, because I think even in Liverpool, even though they haven't been great all season, I still think that they're a massive threat, especially with the form they're in at the moment. And where do we get? I think counter-attacks, trying to keep things tight.
I mean, we're the best counter-attacking team in Europe.
He did, and I think for a time maybe we were. I don't know about anymore, but I think the midfield, especially now Trent is in there, it's going to be even more difficult to contain. I think if we play a 2 midfield, we're asking for trouble, but I think we can do that anyway. I think maybe the joy you can think of is Son, because Trent's going to be coming inside. He's going to be playing more centrally. It's going to leave more space on that side for Son to run into. So you have to think if Son can exploit that space, if we can get the supply to him, there should be space for Son to run into and really hurt Liverpool. But if I'm thinking on the other side, or centrally, I'm really struggling for where we can really hurt this Liverpool team, to be honest.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. It really is. And I kind of get the feeling like Emerson Royale is going to be a massive loss in this game, because he always turns up in these kind of games, away at Liverpool last year, away at Man City. And he just gives us that defensive solidity that we just don't have with Pedro Porro there. Do you see a Mason maybe springing any surprises in the team selection or anything like that?
I really hope that if he's going to go 5 at the back, we go 5-3-2. That's my hope going into this game.
Didn't we play 3-5-2 there last season, or maybe at home against them last season?
At home last season we did. Yeah, away from home we didn't, but at home we did. Especially now Trent has this new role, I think it's even more essential we have another central midfielder in there. And I actually think the dual threat of Kane and Son could be more effective if they're both maybe centrally or Son pulling wide a bit. So I do think we should play 5-3-2. Whether he'll do it or not, whether he trusts Sarr to do it in an important game like this is another question.
He stepped in the San Siro and the North London derby, so I don't see why not.
It's whether he does it. Last game he got pulled off after 20 minutes, so I know it wasn't totally his fault. So that's going to be a judgment call for Mason to make. I hope he does it, because I think we need that extra body in the midfield. And maybe if you put that extra body in midfield and then you have Perisic and Porro getting forward a bit more as well with a bit more protection, I think that's probably the way to go. I think you can attack them down the flanks, then have Kane and Son a bit more central. If we play with the 3-4-3, I just worry Skip and Højbjerg are not going to see the ball at all, pretty much. That's what I'm worried about, and they're going to be completely... the game's going to pass them by, essentially. They're not going to be able to get near anyone off the ball, and they're not going to be able to get on the ball as well. That's what I'm worried about. So I hope he goes 5-3-2. I've got a feeling after the 3-4-3 did all right, I guess, in the second half, I have a feeling he's just going to want to continue with that. So I'm worried that we are going to be a bit naive going to Anfield. But maybe he will spring a surprise. I would be impressed if he does.
If we do go and lose at Anfield on Sunday, are you starting to worry about the Europa League spots now?
I'm worried anyway, to be honest. Even if we win, you know what I mean. Like with Villa in the form they're in, Brighton have 3 games in hand on us.
Especially us going to Villa Park next week as well.
Us going to Villa Park. Liverpool are in good form, so even if we do somehow get a result, I wouldn't put it against Liverpool to turn up in the last 5 games and win them. And they have a game in hand on top of playing us as well. So even if they win their game in hand, they're again a point behind us. So I'm definitely worried about that Europa League spot. I think it's literally 50-50 probably whether we get it or not at this point. So I think we've got a real fight on our hands to grab it.
All right, well, how do you see this game going? What's your score prediction?
I think we're going to lose. As much as we improved against Man United, that gave me a bit of hope that we can make a bit more of a game of it, and I do think we can. I don't see us coming out on top. I think Liverpool are going to completely overawe us. I can see that. I can see them suffocating us. And as much as we might have a few good opportunities on the counter, if Kane can really get involved in the game, I don't see us having more opportunities than Liverpool, and I think Liverpool will make them pay because of how bad our defence is right now. Even in a game which we were good on Sunday or on Thursday, our defence was still bad. So I'm going for something like a 4-2.
Wow.
4-2 to Liverpool.
I said the same. I was thinking the exact same, yeah. I was thinking the exact same 4-2 because, like I said before, I think this is going to be an end-to-end game. I think there's going to be a lot of goals. I think Liverpool will carve us open, but I think we ourselves have enough quality the other end to go get ourselves a couple goals ourselves. And I think we might even start the game with a good mentality and start pressing from the front early on. But I just think we're just going to get caught way too easily by Liverpool with the way they're playing at the moment. Their front three really kicking. Trent in this new role really impacting things going forward. So it's hard to find reasons why we're going to win this game or even go and take a draw. But everyone wrote us off against Man United. We came back and drew the game, so you never know what's going to happen. But with their form and with our defensive frailties, it's hard to see how we're not going to concede less than 3 goals this weekend. It really is. So We both went for 4-2. I
Yeah,
guess.
it looks like it. Yeah, 4-2.
But let me know in the comments section below what your thoughts are on the game and what your predictions are as well. And we'll see you all very soon. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always,
Come on, you Spurs.